Hey guys! So today we are here to talk about why I am a horrible horse owner. So first of all, we were kind of discussing the title, if it should be horse owner, horse person, or rider.
Because she's all of those.
Yeah, we figured I'm all of those, but horse owner?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's mainly because you suck as a horse owner.
Yeah, because I'm mainly about horse owner. So that is kind of like the words of people of the world, that I am a shitty horse owner. So I thought I would just talk about why. So first of all, I think the reason why people think I'm a horrible horse owner, or why I am, is because I sell my horses. Like, if I have a horse and that horse no longer suits my needs, I sell it. And I think that's why people started hating on me, because I had a horse and then I sold it and everyone was like, oh my gosh, how can you do that? Like, it's an animal, don't you love your horses? And like, yeah, you know that, you saw that.
Oh my gosh, but do you think I can hear Santo?
Yeah, whatever, that's fine.
By the way, do you hear any chewing noises? It's Santo eating hay.
My horse,
Yeah.
which I'm probably going to sell in the future. But so I had a pony. Like, when I started YouTube, I had a pony, and I sold my pony, and then I started getting a ton of hate, and that was because I sold them. And then people said you can't possibly love your horse or care about your horse, because if you did, you would never sell them. So to me that's stupid, and I think you agree.
Yeah, I don't think people understand that you can't keep all the horses you have and support them all if you want to get somewhere in the sport. If you don't have the money to support 5 horses, why would you keep a horse that you've seeded in your life?
Yeah, and that's what I thought too. Of course I love my horses, but the thing is that I wanted to move up as a rider, and the reason I've sold my horses have either been because I maxed out of their capabilities, or because it was the other way around, that I was too good for them or they were too good or too bad for me. There was something that made us unable to progress further
Wait, they didn't
together.
work with you?
Yeah, they didn't work with me. There was something that made us unable to progress further together. So that's why I sold them. And to some people I kind of understand, because some people say oh, it's what if you sold your child? But
no, they can't compare that.
you can't compare that, because you wouldn't sell your child.
You didn't give
But
birth
people
to your
say-
horse.
You didn't give birth to your horse.
Yeah.
But people will still say I'm a horrible horse owner because of that. And okay, fine, it's your opinion, but still, I think it's stupid. And another thing is because I use tack. Literally tack. Bridles, saddles, boots. People will make that sound like you're a bad horse owner. And blankets, of course blankets, because it's not natural for the horse to have a blanket on. But of course it's natural for a horse that's clipped to be out and freeze to death. But then again, it's not natural for a horse to be clipped. So no matter where you twist and turn it, it will make me, or other people in my situation, into a bad horse owner. So I'm sorry that I use tack and blankets, but for my sake, when I work my horse, it's better for it to be clipped, because if they're not clipped, they get really sweaty, and then it takes them ages to dry. And then you get a sick horse, and when you clip it, then you don't have that problem. But when you clip them, you have to have a blanket on them. So I don't know if people that mean you shouldn't work your horse. What do you think they mean? That you shouldn't work your horse because it gets sweaty and you shouldn't clip it and you shouldn't
Yeah, they're really crazy. I don't think there's a right situation for them. Maybe just putting your not riding.
Yeah, riding so that they don't get sweaty.
I only have one thing that people think as I'm a bad horse owner. Not as a bad horse owner, but people, I don't understand why, but they got frustrated when I said I got a new horse because I didn't want Monty to be jumping to the heights that I wanted to go and improve on, because he's 17 and he's been showing for almost his whole life since he was 4, and he competed at 135 as a 6-year-old, so he's had a lot of years in the sport, and I don't see how it's fair for him to compete higher than 90 or a meter now.
But that's really rude, because you're replacing him. But that's usually what people say, and yeah, so she's bad because she's replacing him, and she would be bad if she didn't I think no matter where you twist and turn it, you will always be a bad horse owner in some people's eyes. But another thing is that we have them in stables. This is a stable. Look, we're in jail. Poor horses suffering here. I understand everyone that thinks that the horses
Look how
should be
sad
free.
he looks.
Yeah, he looks very sad.
I can't see him.
You can't see it because he's in jail.
Wait.
So yeah, I kind of understand when people think that they should be natural, but I wouldn't say it's abusive to have them look at this barn. It's a really pretty barn. They have big boxes, they have shavings, they have hay, they have water, they have everything. So I don't really know, you can't really say that it's abusive. But people would still do that. They would still tell me I get told quite often that I'm a bad horse owner because my horses are stabled. and because they're blanketed, and because I have tack on them. Of course, because I ride them like in a sport. I do dressage, I do jumping. Like whoa, horses' legs are not meant to be for jumping. Horses' backs are not meant to be sat on. So that is just like super abusive. Like I guess everyone can imagine why.
Some people, like, I don't understand. I live in a very hot country, and people don't get that they will. My horses, they can't be out all day because then they will die of heat stroke and or like get really sick.
That would not be nice for them, and it's the same with me. I live in a very cold country, so like in winter they can't be out all day without freezing to death. So it's not abusive to have them in like to harm them from heat or from cold. And also like the thing with blankets, like if I have my horses out on like minus 25 degrees, of course they will need blankets because otherwise they will be very cold.
And like,
but it's like I don't get how people can say that riding horses is abuse. Like that I get that quite often too. You get that too. Like
no,
jumping and dressage is abuse because they're not supposed to be worked that way, and you can see on the horse that like I get that a lot, that you can, it looks like my horses are unhappy because they're not meant to be jumping and I still jump them, and they think like that is mean towards the horse because you can see that they're clearly unhappy jumping, and I shouldn't be doing that because horses are not made for jumping.
But then they should argue with the first person who sat on a horse, not you. There's so many riders out there that it's ridiculous. It's like a sport. It's not, if you treat a horse properly, it's not abuse at all, and it's not taking advantage of them or anything. If they're being treated well and not being harmed, and like of course ridden properly and not ridden too much, or not ridden like if you don't ride them enough. And
but people still say that it's abuse to ride them because like in dressage, because you force them to go in unnatural positions. I get that all the time. Like my horse is behind the pole, my horse is behind the vertical, it's over the vertical, it's overextended, it's over collected, like it's always something. And I think that you can't really say that it's abuse unless, like, of course some people do abuse their horses, but I don't think if some people abuse their horses they would put it on YouTube. So there's like basically there's a lot of things you can call me out on us being a horse abuser, because people will never agree with themselves, because they will be like, you're a horse abuser because they go out too much, they don't go out, they're out in the wrong kind of paddocks, they are out in rain, they're not out in rain, you ride them, you don't ride them.
You use a martingale, you don't use a martingale.
Yeah, on my video with Cara, people like call me out because I use a martingale, and then someone else comes in and call me out because I don't use a martingale. Like, you will never be able to please everyone, and I've certainly experienced that through my years on social media. That is like literally impossible to please everyone.
And also, but wait, isn't jumping natural for horses? Like, don't they jump around?
Yeah, like jumping is natural, but do you mean that jumping, like forcing them to jump a whole course, is abuse because they're not meant to? I don't know, but people, like, I don't think you will ever be able to agree with everyone on the internet.
And some horses who really don't like jumping will just stop and will not jump anymore.
Yeah, then the rider will usually realize that this horse is not meant for jumping. My point is that, like, I will always be a horrible horse owner, horse rider, person, in someone's eyes, and I'm sorry, but I guess you can't please everyone. So I'm sorry if you think I'm a horse abuser, but maybe then you should stop following me, because I really do care for my horses, and even though you don't agree with the way I do it, you can't agree with the fact that I care about them, and I would never intentionally abuse them. I think if I did, I would not have a YouTube channel. So, yeah, point of the story, someone will always call you an abuser, but that doesn't mean you are.
And as someone who actually has met the reason her horses, she works very hard for horses, and like both of them didn't come to her in great stages or great fitness, and she's worked really hard to get them to where they are right now. And even in this month that we've been together, both horses have had massive improvements, and I think it's very stupid when you just go online and target someone who you don't know and who you don't know any history of their horses or what they've done before, and just judge them from their riding or how they take care of their horses from what you see in a video.
Which is not a lot.
Yeah, like you don't know anything about the horses or the rider or any backstory. Like you could see this video of this one person riding such a nice course, and they could have probably edited out all the fails in the lesson or anything.
Which a lot of people do.
Yeah, and then so how would you judge? Would you judge someone who actually puts the fails in and just shows you that nobody's perfect, or would you just be like, oh my gosh, you're such a good rider, with someone who just doesn't put any bad content?
Yeah.
And I
that's
think
also true.
like we're all human. Yes, we do make mistakes. Yes, you can do the wrong thing sometimes, but I don't think that makes you a bad horse owner, or a bad rider, or a bad horse person.
Yeah.
Especially like when you're younger. Like how are you gonna judge like an 11-year-old girl who hadn't had proper training?
How are you gonna improve if you don't have the room
Yeah.
to?
And if you really like, if you have that much negativity in your heart against other people, like I just think that people should just focus on themselves and their own path to success. Because if you're all only focused on other people and how far they're getting compared to you, I think like comparing yourself to others and like being negative to other people is not helping you. Just focus on yourself. That's my point.
Yeah, and calling other people like horse abusers and stuff is not gonna make you any better.
Yeah.
Like if you see someone ride online and then you go like, oh my gosh, you ride so badly, like I can see you're abusing the horse with those strong hands. It's not making you any better. Like I think most people like that post videos, like I do have trainers. So of course if I did something that was very bad for my horse, my trainer would call me out. And if
And she does if you do.
yeah, she do. And if someone don't have a trainer, I still don't think that people on the internet should just randomly criticize them unless they ask for it. So yeah, that was why I am a bad horse owner. And if you agree, good for you. If you agree with me, like that I'm not a horse abuser, good for me. Yeah. Yeah, and this is Mariam, by the way. Heels Down, Hopes Up. I'll put her link here on her face. So you should go check her videos out. And this is our last day together. It's so sad.
Oh, this is gonna be like posted later, so we're gonna
it's
see
be posted
this.
later. And then we're gonna be like, oh my gosh. But yeah, thank you guys for watching.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss you.
We're gonna miss you. Oh, we're gonna miss you too.
Bye guys.
Bye guys. Bye.